I'm upset. No disrespect, respectfully. But disrespectfully is disrespect. Don't be disrespectful. Those vile, disgusting Spartans. Poor little bro, them. And I'ma tell them why I'm mad. That vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus. The other state, and of course, as always, I'm upset. Good evening, good people. It is I, the Maze Mad Man. It was not the prettiest thing, but this right here. Michigan wins. Michigan beats Alabama, second time, by the way, in the same calendar year as Michigan beat these same Alabama Crimson Tide in the Rose Bowl, the semifinals of the CFP, to start this year, January 1st, actually, of this year. And now on New Year's Eve, they open the season with a win over this team, and now end the year with the win over this team. Let me first say this. I had a lot to say about this guy earlier in the season. I had negative things to say about this guy earlier in the season, but I have to now give him his flowers, his credit. Wink Martindale is him. Wink Martindale today, in a situation where his head coach and his offensive coordinator helped him this much, because they kept putting him and his defense back on the field. Sometimes just 3 and out, turnover, 3 and out, punt. And he held up. Wink Martindale deserves golf claps. Wink Martindale deserves actually a standing ovation. He deserves all the credit in the world today because Wink Martindale showed up and showed out, and so did this Michigan defense. Speaking of this Michigan defense, they held Ryan Williams, a guy that earlier this season I said was the best freshman receiver in college football. Granted, I changed that, my opinion on that with more information, as intelligent people are supposed to do, because Jeremiah Smith is actually the best freshman wide receiver in college football. That said, Ryan Williams is not anything to sneeze at. He is right behind Jeremiah Smith, in my humble opinion. Held that man to 3 catches, 8 yards. He made a would-be spectacular catch on the sideline, but Sugar Hill, shout out to Jair Hill, used the sidelines exactly how a defensive back is supposed to use the sidelines, especially when a receiver leaves his feet, and pushed him out of bounds. Beautiful play. Chef's kiss to Jair Hill for that. But absolute dominant performance by Wink Martindale and this Michigan defense. Again, 8 yards for Ryan Williams. They got 6, I believe, sacks on Jalen Milroe. It was kind of just a cut and copy of what they did to Jalen Milroe at the beginning of the year in the Rose Bowl. And by the way, SEC who? We were told that this team, by the way, and maybe you believe that this team should have been in the CFP. And if that team is supposed to be in the CFP, then Michigan now has beaten 2 of those CFP participants, or would-be participants in this case, because obviously Alabama didn't make it. But the other state did. And speaking of the other state, Michigan and Wink Martindale again hold another highly ranked team, vastly talented team, under 20 points. In fact, they 2 back-to-back outings now, they've held those teams under 15 points, as Alabama only mustered 13 points today. The other state only mustered 10 points in their house. Wink Martindale deserves our respect. He deserves the turnaround of opinion that he has garnered this season, because earlier in the season, it was real Shabba ranks for Wink Martindale, and he has proven to be a gem really in this season for the Wolverines. Now, it wasn't all peaches and cream. Let me say that. It wasn't all beautiful. And we're going to get to some things that I hated. We're going to get to some things that I loved. But first, let's talk about what I hated. By the way, this is your show. To everybody in the chat, I'm sorry I haven't gotten to the chat yet. I'm going to be dropping a link in there shortly. So come on up. It is a call-up show. But I will get to that in just a second. That said, my guy is here, by the way. Kinetic, what's good, sir?
Nothing, man. I was just got home from watching the game and pretty excited, man. I had some money on it. I thought they were going to upset. I called it last night, and they did.
Absolutely. Listen, I was just explaining how my opinion of Wink Martindale has changed as the season has grown. Earlier in the season, I was on the train of he's a trash can, he's a steaming pile of you know what, but he has absolutely been coaching gyms the second half of this season. Shout out to Mr. Wink Martindale.
And if you remember, that was how you and I first started talking about Michigan at the start of this year.
Yeah.
First conversation we had, and when you told me call in and give that opinion because you didn't agree with it, that I said give him time. He's gonna figure it out, and he's gonna turn it around. And he's gonna be a great defensive coach. I kept saying that, and I called in, and everybody was on me about it at the start. Everybody, the chat, everybody. I think the only person that who was it? There was one person that was saying in the chat with me, and I don't remember who it was, but everyone else was like, no, Wink is trash. Wink got to go.
Yeah.
I tried telling you that defense, all he had to do was adapt it to the college game.
I consider myself a learned person. And with more information, I change my opinions on things, right? And obviously I had a small sample size earlier in the season. It was not great. I was like, this guy is not the guy. I was absolutely wrong. I must say that. I got to give him his credit for that. By the way, there are 295 people here. We need 295 likes. It costs you not a penny, I promise. Hey, Julius, we see you backstage. We're going to get to you, sir.
I just want to clarify because I see you in the chat. I did not at any point defend Kirk Campbell. I said we need more than 3 games to determine that. But I never defended Kirk Campbell. I defended Wink Martindale. I defended Sharon Moore. And I defended Lamar Morgan. Those were the 3 names that I always brought up that I thought were going to be good. Everybody else, I was wait and see. Now, I did say give everybody else more time because a lot of y'all in the chat were talking about fire everybody after 3 weeks. And I said we need more time. I said we cannot make that judgment this early. But I only ever defended Sharon Moore, Wink, and Lamar Morgan.
No doubt. So I want to get to this really quick because we are going to get, I promise we're going to get to Jordan Marshall. We're going to get to all of that. Obviously, Warren, look at me. I almost did it. Davis Warren
he's the Buckeye Slayer, Warren.
I'm not going to bog it down with this. Davis Warren goes out third quarter. Insert Alex Orji, who is in the transfer portal, by the way. He comes in, hands it off 1,000 times. We end up not needing to score. However, it did get a little choppy there. Give me your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, when Davis Warren went down, I know everyone was wanting Jaden Davis to go in. And had we not been in the lead, I think we would have seen Jaden Davis. But with us being in the lead, I think they went with what they knew and just tried to, like the announcer said, bleed it out, just play Michigan ball like we have this year. And it's kind of eerie how similar the ending of this game was to the ending of the Rose Bowl on the first day of this year. They were in almost the exact same position on the field. It came down to one final play by Milroe, and we stopped him. But I mean, with Orji, hey, like I said, I'm hesitant to talk bad about the guy because I met him at the spring game. Great guy. He's the kind of guy you want as a teammate. I don't know where he fits in on the team. If he decides he wants to come back to the team and go to a different position, I'm all for it. Find a place for him. But if he wants to be a quarterback, if he wants to transfer, then find a team that's going to highlight his abilities and put his best foot forward, and more power to him. And I would cheer for him just because of the kind of guy he is, the kind of teammate he's been. He's not a perfect player. He's not a perfect quarterback. We know his deficiencies, but he's a Wolverine.
No doubt. Shout out to GT. He says, great to see this year end just like it started, beating Alabama, beating Kalen DeBoer. What an incredible end to the season. That's a Snapple top fact. Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah, it was Marmar. Marmar was the other guy said give Wink Martindale time.
Kalen DeBoer also 0-2 against Michigan this year. Alabama 0-2 against Michigan this year. Jalen Milroe 0-2.
All those starters that decided to play because they wanted revenge on Michigan, just like the Ohio State players that came back because they wanted revenge on Michigan. It ain't happening.
The second half of this season for the Wolverines has been amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and bring up Julius. We're gonna do this a little different. I'm gonna drop the link in the comment section for anybody who wants to come up. We're bringing up one person at a time. We're gonna give you a shot clock. We'll bring up everybody that wants to join later on. But to start this, we're doing one person at a time. Jew, how you feeling?
Yo, it's good, man. You able to hear me?
We can hear you, man.
Awesome. That was crazy. That was so unexpected. And to see the toughness, like the first quarter, it's raining. Like, get over it, Bama. Like, it rains in Alabama too. And they're dropping balls. And how about Derek Moore? What was that? 2 sacks and a fumble recovery in the first quarter.
Absolutely.
I just love seeing that energy because that's what I think Jim Harbaugh infused back into this program.
Absolutely.
Like a dog is almost too, it doesn't describe it enough. It's like this confidence. And Bama was afraid. I mean, you look at that last 20 minutes, like Milroe's looking to the sideline, like, what do we do here? But yeah, I just wanted to shout out to Sharon Moore. Honestly, he hired Wink Martindale. And yeah, our offense sucks, but that's okay. We have a new offensive coordinator, and we have Bryce Underwood. And seeing the videos of him leak from practice, dude, he is a true 6'5", and his arm is a cannon. But like, I think the biggest thing, because if we get Bryce and you see Jordan Marshall is going to I had another clip up. Jordan Marshall is going to be a dog. Like, he is a true, he's a true RB1. And what I love about his performance today and his toughness is he's like, yo, you go get Justice Haynes, and you fans get excited about that, which is fine. I'm sure he's cool with that. But he's like, I'm the guy. And look at this. I will take these licks from these freak athletes. Like, their linebackers and safeties were drilling him. And he gets up and he's like, let's go. Next. So anyway, a little rant there.
And that's why I even before we got Justice Haynes, a lot of people were saying we need to go get a running back in the portal. And I'm okay that we got Justice Haynes. I'm not mad about it. And I think he'll be RB1. But I also wasn't that worried about it because I knew we had Jordan Marshall there. We got Benjamin Hall. We got Micah Kapana. I'm okay with that room. Justice Haynes, that's just icing on top, man.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah, and I think that was the game plan. And I love that, like, the coaches were hyping him up this week. The announcers are saying that today because he should be. He committed to Michigan. I love Justice. I'm pumped for him. And we need 2 dog running backs. But Marshall's going to be the guy, and you pair that with Bryce Underwood. But anyway, I'm just so happy because it shows me that the dog, the toughness, Sharon Moore learned a lot from Jim Harbaugh. He coached with him, and Harbaugh hand-selected him. There are pictures of him holding up Sharon and being like, yo, this is the guy. He was signaling it. I mean, he didn't, he probably didn't know he was going to leave.
Right.
But, yeah, man, I don't know. Derek Moore, I think, is a dog. The D-line, I don't know enough, but they held up really well. Barnum's a dog. How about Brandon Hillman? Like, laying the fucking wood from safety and getting up and being like, let's go. And same with Hill. Like these guys have the dog. They're all back next year. Let's get Bryce Underwood, Jordan Marshall. Let's get a solidified offensive line. Like we're going to dominate next year. I think people are underplaying us for next year. But, Maze Madman, you're killing it with the content, man. Kinetic, you too.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, man.
Especially when you bring on the recruits. And, like, people should be interacting with those shows and showing the community. Like, that is kind of modern-day recruiting. And if these kids come on, like Trey Taylor, when you guys have it, when they come on and they're like, people are engaging, that pushes our program forward. And we got a bright future, man. And today really showed that you can complain about the offense. That literally doesn't matter. And the only thing you should take from the offense today is Jordan Marshall, who's going to be a beast. So anyway,
1,000%. Julius, we appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming up. We do have a bunch of people in the queue. That was a great call-in, by the way.
Absolutely.
Definitely need more call-ins like that.